Well, greetings, everyone. I have a special surprise from somebody who we absolutely appreciate being here since it's his own show. And of course, we have the most incredible and amazing Supreme Heretic. What's going on, Drew?
Well, I am very happy to report that, I'm kind of back. So that's good. Big shout out to Wes for helping me out. And then this coming Saturday, I should have my tower at least temporarily repaired, so I can get back up and running. And hopefully squeeze about another 4, maybe 5 months life out of that tower. But the guy that's fixing it for me is fixing it for me for a good price, and at least bought some more time out of it, and I'm very happy for that. So yeah, it's turned out pretty good. And again, a big thank you to Wes for at least getting me. He sent me his old laptop, so I'm able to actually somewhat participate now, and I don't have something like frying my bolas, so that's good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're not frying you, whatever the hell that was. Hail to the chat. What is going on, people? Good to see you.
We got Angelus Draven here.
What's up, Angelus? What's up, Merkel? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Could you guys share out the link? Smash the like for us. Much appreciate all of you. Going to talk about some great Battlestar Galactica tonight. I'm afraid to tell you all this. I couldn't stop watching it. I got all the way to the end. Now I had to go back.
That's all right.
I couldn't stop.
You always, dude. You get on those. You get on them binges.
I started binging it. I couldn't help it. The show is so good.
But it really is though. Because
CJH.
Because when we get in on watching this thing, dude, it's so easy to just roll in and start. Getting lost in the episodes because they're so damn epic. And man, this season so far, it's been really, really good.
I said, well, I want to. Merkel asked, "Where's Raquel?" Raquel, unfortunately, won't be here tonight. She's got to do some academic stuff. She's got to do some smart people stuff.
Yeah, so, Raquel got to let everybody know, because I spoke with Raquel, and she said that. She will be taking another hiatus briefly from the show for a little while. She got a job where time does conflict a little bit, and it's a job in academia, and I'm happy for her. So
God damn, I gotta give a shout. Look, I gotta give a shout out to Anna. Oh my God, have y'all seen that picture of her?
Hail, brightest day. Great to see you.
You seen that picture of her? It's Mary Jane, the Mary Jane pose. Oh my God.
Where
Star Wars
where
girl
are you
looks
talking
good,
about?
man. I'm talking about it's on Twitter. It's on my YouTube feed.
That's on Twitter. Hold on.
You need to look that up. But what's all hail brightest day? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got caught up by some boobies. I'm sorry. I ain't ashamed to say it. It looks good. It looked good. Anna, good job, Anna. I know you ain't watching this, but good job. Oh my Lord. Anyway, what's going on, brightest day? Thank you for being here. Thank everybody for being here. Please smash that like button and share out the link. We're going to be talking about some Battlestar Galactica tonight. I went ahead and watched the whole damn series, so I have to now. I have to go back now and watch season 3 over again. When I watched it all, though, I have to say, there is at some point in season 4 where the show skews into almost an entirely different direction. Almost. I get that they were rounding it out, and I'm not. It's not that I'm dissatisfied with it, but it's just seeing it different. This last time viewing it, And having gone week after week with this show and traveling, just reliving it and looking at it, I feel like it steered hard into another direction in season 4. I don't know. How do you feel? How do you feel about that, Drew?
Are you talking about later in season 4?
Yeah,
or are you
yeah.
Well, when we go from season 3 to season 4, there's going to be a big time shift. But there's also some stuff about season 4 where I felt like it kind of and I think those of you guys that watch the entirety of the series, you can agree. Season 4, there's certain aspects of season 4 that do kind of jump the shark in ways, and that bothered me to a degree. Where again, like at the very end, and when we eventually get to the finale, we will speak very frankly on the finale because I had very mixed feelings about the finale, but getting up to that point, at least like at the point we're at with tonight's episode, which is taking a break from all your worries, we're still in a really good place now. This is a really good episode. And
you got the link for that song?
If you check your Twitter DMs, Steven.
Oh, my Twitter DMs. Okay, I thought it would be in the private chat.
It is right there. And I forgot that we could put links in the private chat. I'm so good. Good God.
That's what I was waiting on. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's now in the private chat too. So if anybody wants to share that out in the regular chat, and if anybody among our guests watching wants to read this synopsis, by the way, this website, if we do throw the link out in the open YouTube chat for you guys, this website does have synopses of all the episodes, so you could go through and recap on anything you want. And this is a very nice it isn't fully a substitute because nothing can substitute for Raquel's notes, but it's an acceptable substitute.
Absolutely. Well, no, it's not an acceptable substitute. Raquel writes those out so beautifully.
Well, yeah, she does.
The eclectic way that she expresses not only what is happening in scene to scene, but how she sees them.
Yeah, because it has the Raquel-isms in it.
Absolutely.
And nothing can replace the Raquel-isms, and shout out to Kel, because man, I love her like little things that she slips in there. But but listen, we are gonna have fun with tonight's episode. This is a very good episode. We're gonna enjoy discussing it. I know Brightest Day and Ruth Korean will be all over this. So, all right, man.
All right, let me know when you're ready to get into it, guys, and I got you.
All right, let's do it.
Right. So we start off in Act 1 on the hangar deck. Lee tells Tyrell that he'll be surprised. He leads Tyrell to where a bar has been set up, and Lee gets the bartender's attention. I mean, yeah, because now Tyrell's the one that started up the still, right? He had that still out there on the hangar deck. Mm-hmm. Now we have a full-on bar, which leads to many different shenanigans in the show. Tyrell says that he's not going home tonight anyway. Lee asks if he and Callie had a fight, and Tyrell says that they did, and he thought that Lee would have heard them. In Adama's quarters, Gaeta, Ty, Adama, Coddle, and Rosalind talk. Coddle says that sleep deprivation, and a hunger strike that are leading Baltar to become unstable. Rosalind says that Coddle needs to make sure Baltar eats. Coddle leaves. Ty says that he'll see to getting security cameras up, and then he leaves. Rosalind asks Gaeta why he went to see Baltar. Gaeta says that he couldn't sleep and thought that Baltar might talk to him. Adama accepts the answer and then dismisses him. Any thoughts so far?
Yeah, really quick, Stephen, because going along with that, we kind of missed what happened in the teaser, which which real quickly at the beginning, guys, this was the episode where, Baltar and essentially he tried to kill himself in his cell.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw like Angel 6 in there, like kind of did the she kind of like kicked the chair out from under him, which again, we're at this point already. We're into season 3, and we're still, we're kind of wondering about the whole thing with Angel 6, because we're like, wow, did she actually try to kill him in a way? But obviously we know like Baltar was himself trying to commit suicide. So it was a really disturbing vision that he had when that happened. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was really trippy as he woke up in the resurrection tub. There's 3 6s around him. Baltar says he's happy to be alive, and then they start cutting him.
Yeah.
It's like, what the shit, man? So anyway, the guard successfully gave him CPR, and he's good, and
then Rosalind's like, he has to eat. Stick a tube down his throat. That's
yeah.
Baltar. I mean, I don't have any sympathy for Baltar, but God, they love torture in that guy.
They fucked him up this episode. But yeah, getting back to where you left off though, Steven, yeah, it's this episode it gets dark real quick, and you start to see like the stuff with you start to see the little fractures with within like the crew as well, because this also is a big episode with showing that both marriages are on the rocks from the perspective of Anders and Starbuck, and also from the perspective of Lee and Dee.
Well, it had been falling apart. I
yeah.
mean, it's just the culmination of how many different bad choices made by both of those people. I mean, that's going to affect the relationship. Everybody. This whole show is about freaking anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
to the umpteenth degree. And when you have, Lee and Kara banging each other, or having this, romance or romantic interests and inclinations toward one another, I mean, of course, their significant others are going to feel that. It's strange to see how those characters dealt with it, though. Both kept trying to deal with it when I wouldn't have.
Yeah, what's your take so far, Culture?
Well, for me, it's it speaks more to the level of I would describe it as psychosis, to be honest with you, not necessarily anxiety that Baltar is dealing with. Mm-hmm. I think that his narcissism and self-obsession has put him in this state. I mean, he's capable of having conversations with a non-existent entity whom, you saw as a result of his own manifestations that he believes that Angel 6 kicked the chair out from under him, even though under no pretenses do we accept that as the audience. Right. But mm-hmm. I just my assumption is always that his step into his own delusions are a direct result of the guilt that he feels. It manifests that way from killing most of the entire human population. So,
yeah, and I think that's spot on. I think that's what it's been like the whole time. Although, we come to find out later, that it's not entirely psychosis, but a lot of it is a psychotic perception. So, yeah, I do agree with that assessment big time, man. That's a hell of an observation, my friend. Good job.
Hey, somebody has to step up when Raquel's not here, so
Nice.
I had to turn the brain on. This is my first glass of wine, so I mean, I'm one glass of wine, so we're okay so far. We're okay so far.
Yeah, man, I'm not even gonna comment. Yesterday, I ended up going to Chili's for Cinco de Mayo with one of my buddies, and man, I had this like. They had all their margaritas for $5. I had this margarita called the Presidente or whatever. Yeah, it was the Presidente, all right. It was the Presidente of knocking me on my ass. It's like I was freaking one margarita. I was hammered, man.
Well, so what your tolerance disappears, especially as you get older and you are not practicing. So, but good to see you, Mr. Runner. I'm not going
Hail to you, brother.
Yeah, I'm not going to use that. I mean, I know now that you're. I know you want to be Lord Raiden, but you're just Runner, dude. You're just Runner. And of course, Brightest Day says Baltarn 6 is a Fight Club scenario. I agree with that 1,000%. No one says sup.
Hey, no one. What's going on?
And it's good to see everybody saying hi to everybody. You don't have Discord, huge bummer. But you know what? I don't know. Discord is very archaic, in my opinion. It is a very antiquated interface and interactivity. But someday someone will build upon it. And since they are in the market to be acquired, I imagine that will be someone acquiring them and doing so. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt, and we can certainly move on.
All right, then. Okay, so moving on to the next scene, Lee walks into D's
quarters.
His and D's. I just don't like the way that sentence is structured. Quarters, and finds D is still awake. He says that Tyrell says hi. She makes a snide comment about his drinking. He counters that she indicated it wasn't her thing. He says he has a briefing early in the morning. Dude, I remember that scene. He was stumbling, though. He was drunk. She asks if they are still having dinner tomorrow. He says they are. She isn't done talking to him, but he's already asleep. Yeah, he was drunk. He just passed right out. Rosalind walks into Baltar's cell. She then repeats the things he did in her cell on New Caprica. Rosalind then asks, he handed him his glasses and offered him a cigarette. Rosalind then asks if he allowed the Cylons, that blonde she saw with him on Caprica, access to the defense mainframe. Before he answers, his inner six tells him to be careful because she'll throw him out of an airlock. He says that he didn't collude with the Cylons in the genocide of his own people. Rosalind starts showing him photos of people who were killed for being insurgents and wonders if he recognizes any of them. He says that he's innocent, and Rosalind gets angry. She orders Ty in to take Baltar out and throw him at an airlock. The guard sees Baltar, who demands a fair trial. In the memorial corridor, Rosalind points out all the people that died and wonders if he recognizes any of them. Baltar grabs a photo and says that this man was his lab assistant who got a visa and his godfather. And is a godfather of the man's child. He says that he would not do anything to harm his family. Rosalind orders the guards to take him out of there. Yeah, she has no mercy for Baltar.
No, she's over it at this point.
Yeah, and it begs to wonder if they're putting too much of the blame of what happened on him, himself. I don't have any mercy for the guy, but really that's how it feels to me when I was watching that scene. It's just like there was a lot of different elements going on at that time. Mm-hmm. Of course, his survivability is what he cares about the most, him surviving, and that's what he's best at, keeping himself alive. And at the same time, had Rosalind been in that position, she probably would be dead. She would have been shot. I have no doubt. So I just I look at what he was put through and what he continues to be put through, and I'm amazed that this dude hasn't successfully offed himself yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes you ask questions because you have to wonder, and again, we're getting into allegories of today. But why was he targeted in the first place by the Cylons? And you got to think because of his personality traits and the fact, like, they knew that he could be gotten to with seduction, and that whole thing was a complete setup. Same as today, you have to wonder who is targeted by certain powers that be in the world and is being used in a similar manner. So, Joe Biden, but yeah. I mean, you have to really look at that, and yeah, if you break it down in that sense, I agree with you, Stephen, because he's bearing the entire brunt of what happened when essentially he was really and truly, when they were in the planning stage of everything, he was targeted specifically for his lack of discretion, and his moral turpitude when it comes to the choices that he makes and the pleasures that he partakes in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he made himself a prime candidate to be compromised and be manipulated, which a lot in a large sense he was.
Let's see. Brightest day for his survival is where the show hangs in that weird balance between luck, choice, and Deus Ex. The show tries to maintain.
Yeah, there's a big day of sex in this show.
Lots of sex. Yes. And Roof Crayon also said analogs to the burning bush or a voice in Noah's head to build the ark. Mm-hmm. Good point. I mean, the show borrows heavily from all types of religious texts.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Any thoughts, Culture?
No, you guys friggin' nailed it. But I mean, I what I'll say is this: the machinations that Roslin puts him through, they're fully calculated. I mean,
these are, absolutely.
I mean, it's straight out of the mindfuck playbook if you're doing interrogation. So I mean, they did a really good job with it here, in my opinion. So, but yeah, that's all I really.
Well, remember who directed this episode, dude?
No,
who directed it?
Edward James Olmos himself.
Well, that's right. You mentioned that. Yeah. You know what? Not surprising then. Not surprising.
And what show did he break in big with? Miami Vice, where also he learned from one of the masters of this kind of stuff, Michael Mann.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Michael Mann was really, really good at that. Really, really good.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to take a look just for a moment back at the development of Rosalind, of Laura, because she here's a person who was new to politics, and we know this from earlier in the series. She was the Secretary of Education. Thank you. Yeah. Right. She was like the 43rd person on the list, of succession for the presidency. This is not a woman who I don't think has been particularly nasty in her life. She was an educator. She was a teacher for most of her life. That was her skill set. And now we've seen her basically be thrust into the role of the leader of humanity, the leader after a genocide, trying to save the last of humanity. And I am very surprised that she has developed these skills. The types of tactics that she's using against Baltar right now most likely come from her education background. The part of her that's the intellectual side of her, not so much in practice, but in the knowledge of the types of tactics one would use in order to get information out of someone, or basically torture someone like that she's doing right now. There's a lot of things that we've seen Laura Roslin do over the previous years in this show that could very easily be tipped into the darker side of humanity, into evil acts. And so it's amazing to me that, I mean, we know that this character's main goal at this point is the survival of humanity. But I have to wonder if the way that she is treating Baltar at this moment is her doing this out of just stress, just being completely stressed out, guilt-ridden. Everyone in this show from the beginning, since 33, has been under tremendous pressure. So there are several times in this show when I look at Laura Roslin and I go, is she delving into the dark side? Is she delving into the dark part of her humanity? The more sinister aspects of a person, or is she really trying to be a protector? And these scenes did make me question that.
Yeah, I think you're giving her too much credit. I know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, she was an administrator, so she was a politician of a sort. At a certain point in time, when you're an educator, in order to get into a position of power like that, you're trading in your teaching glasses for, an administration.
Manipulation?
Yeah, exactly. Because you have to work your way up through education administration to get from point to point. It's like any other corporate gig. At a certain point, politics are demanded of you, whether or not you ever chose them. And she was adept at it. And clearly, I mean, she did very, very well in
But isn't that more about compromise than being sneaky or underhanded?
I mean, I can see that, and I can see where. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong or right or any of those things, but I mean, because I can definitely lean into some of what you're saying. But to me, it's always that. I don't know. She always seemed like she leaned into it very, very much too easily. She demanded leadership from the very first. Let's go back to 33.
Mm-hmm.
33, her chops came out, no matter what you assume, and she knew the linear progression to get from point A to point B of where she exactly resided on the list of succession, and if you're well down on the list, that's usually not something anybody bothers to know. For anyway, in my opinion. But I agree here with Roof Korean saying, very much the designated survivor. And this previous comment was clearly about, Baltar, which, that's not entirely inaccurate, So okay. I don't know. I mean, those are my thoughts. And again, there's no right or wrong here. We're giving our opinion of how these characters got to where they are. So,
All right. Shall I move forward, gentlemen, or do you have anything more to add, Drew?
Please.
No, yeah, I'm good. Let's go.
Okay, all right. Now I have to find out where I was. Let's see. Okay, then we're going to Act 2. In Adama's quarters, Adama tells Ty that he gave it his best shot. Ty is impressed that Baltar is tougher than he thought. Adama counters that he might have known that they were bluffing. Adama then says that they have one more chance. He tells Rosalind about the experimental interrogation technique using drugs that cause a prisoner to think that their very survival is at stake. Rosalind wants to know if the drugs are on Galactica. Shit, sorry guys. Anders and Kara talk. He wonders about what Leoben said about her special destiny. She blows it off. Anders then says that he didn't survive on Caprica waiting for her or her to leave him. She didn't survive in Leoben's house just to blow off their marriage. Anders then asks if she loves Lee. She says maybe. He says that she needs to go to him then. Lee gets dressed. Do you guys want to talk about any of that before I continue on?
It's kind of interesting. She just comes out and says, "Yeah, maybe." It's like, damn. Well, at least she was honest.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a lot of, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know there's a lot to be explained in this, at this point, because those are pretty straightforward scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lee gets dressed. Dee wants to know where he's going. He says that he's going to the bar. She wants him to just tell her if he's going to see Kara. He says that she doesn't trust him and that he hasn't since the day he proposed. God, it's a bad marriage. She says that I love Dee. Got to, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's basically telling him, I knew all this was going to happen and it was going on anyway.
Yeah, she's a great woman. She says that she should have seen it all. She should have seen it all coming, but she accepted his proposal because she loved him, was willing to settle for having him as long as Lee and Kara would let him. Wow. She then says that they don't have a marriage, but a lie. She walks out. Anders pulls out the curtain. Kara walks to know where he's going. He gives her a hug and a kiss and tells her he loves her and then leaves. Baltar and the Inner Six talk. Angel Six. She's not sure what she can do. Inner Six turns to Ishe and she injects him. Coddle says that Baltar is under. Adama quietly looks around and says to try not to make any loud noise. He then orders the head strap to be put on. God.
Oh boy.
Oh, my Lord, man. All right. Going in. The head strap. Let's see. Going into Baltar's vision number 2, Baltar wonders where he is. He's floating somewhere. Kara asks Lee if she leaves Anders, would she leave D? Would he still leave D? I can't even read tonight. Apologies.
Yeah.
He's not sure she won't just change her mind again since she's talking about both their marriage. Kara tells him to think about it, and she leaves. I don't like the way this is written.
Yeah. All right. So
go ahead.
You kind of want me to pick it up a little bit?
Sure, buddy.
All right. So we're in Act 3, by the way, guys. So we're pretty deep in the episode by now, and this is where they actually if I remember correctly, they have Baltar in the they have him in one of those holds in Galactica, where they kind of have him around water, which is why he's envisioning all this, and he's so after it cuts away from the brief scene with Kara and Lee, you see Baltar floating, and Adama's calling to him. He wants to know where Baltar is, and Baltar says, "I'm in water." Adama wants to know where he is, and Baltar's remembering now the nuclear blast, and we get that cutaway to the stock footage from the miniseries where Six protects him from the blast as his home gets destroyed, and Baltar tells Adama, "I'm a Caprica," and he's talking about Caprica 6 and says that she saved him. Rosalind asks if he gave her access to the defense mainframe. He says that he never intended to, but Six had told him that deep down he had suspected. He says that she seduced him over all other men. Adama threatens to leave Baltar alone in the dark to drown and turns off the flashlight. Baltar's sitting there, lying and floating in the water for a moment, and he screams. Then we cut to the bar. Lee is sitting there fiddling, playing around with his wedding ring. Tyrell walks up and then talks about marriage. Lee asks the chief if he ever wonders what if about Sharon. Tyrell says, well, he never really does. Lee kind of doubts him. Tyrell reaffirms his answers, finishes his drink, and walks off. We cut back to Baltar now. He doesn't want to be left alone. He says, he knows he's flawed, but he made mistakes. And if you pay attention, we get to this point, you really start to feel for the guy. He's stuck down in this hold. He's hallucinating. He's on these fucked up drugs. Adama wants to know why he took the Cylons to Temple of the Five. Baltar says he went to see the final five. Baltar is now envisioning himself in a resurrection tub with dead women and children around him. Rosalind wants to know if Baltar is a Cylon. He says he's not. Adama wants to know what Baltar told the Cylons about Earth. Baltar, in his vision now, slips below the surface of the water, keeps going down. Coddle breaks in and says they're losing Baltar. He said that he's ending this freak show right now. And I had to applaud Coddle for that, finally step in and say enough's enough. So, all right. What do you guys think about that?
Take it away from me for a minute, Culture.
Well, I mean, the thing that comes to mind is this right here. This is your reminder that Baltar survived a nuclear shockwave by kneeling in front of Trisha Helfner. And if he didn't, at some level know that this woman wanted something from him, I mean, that was the kind of relationship it was. It was an exchange. Right. Mm-hmm. He wasn't realizing the amount of the exchange that he was compromising. Right. He thought he was just giving her access for, points so a company could get a contract. He didn't realize he was selling out the human race. Right. But it was an exchange. In his part of that was access to her and her, feminine wiles, for lack of a better way of putting it. But make no mistake, Baltar survived for this very reason, after realizing the depth of his depravity and what its consequences were. So those are my thoughts on that, gentlemen.
I like how Ruth Korean just said Kara pulled a Jada Pinkett Smith on Anders.
I know. And that I highlighted that as we were going. By the way, I'm producing this shit, guys, just so you know.
Yeah. Culture is running the show tonight again. And it's awesome. He has done such an incredible job. I have been kind of, in the non-equipment camp. So, I am hugely thankful to Culture Casino for all the work that he's put in.
It's a great pleasure, my friend, and it's actually I'm getting better at it. So at some point in time, I think we're going to all have to try to run somebody else's show while they're doing it, because it's actually kind of fun.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that he has produced it and done such a great job. But hail to Helam, great to see you. This thing with the whole torture of Baltar, though, it got pretty extreme, and I was glad to see that Coddle, his humanity kicked in and he stepped in. So,
sorry, I'm dealing with kids.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
All right, so you want me to go ahead and continue?
Yeah, please do, sir. Thank you.
All right, so move into Act 4 now. And Rosalind is quoting scripture about the final 5 Cylons for the 5 columns for 5 priests who speak to the one that cannot be spoken of. Rosalind says that he won't talk because he's afraid that they'll kill him anyway. She says that they have to use someone he trusts. Gata sits in Baltar's cell. And then cut to Lee telling Dee that he married her because he loved her. Cut back to Baltar, says that he's sure about what he did. He says that, and it goes back to Lee, says that he loved Kara and a part of him might always will. And it cuts back to Baltar saying that everything he's done to survive. And it cuts over to Lee again. It says that in spite of his love for Kara, he married her and didn't realize how much he needed her until he thought he was losing her. And Gata, I guess, is talking to Baltar, says that he needs to give them something. And cut back to Lee, he's begging for another chance from Dee.
I know what he's going back and forth with my girl. Why are you doing my girl like this?
Mm-hmm.
Lee, you little man nugget. If I was him, I'd have been making babies.
No, dude, yeah, exactly. I'd have been, man.
Right? These are great kids. She's basically one of Adama's daughters, right?
Yeah.
You know, like she's a young person on the bridge crew, confident. We've seen her overcome her own fears, her own fear of inadequacy, maybe. But we've seen her rise in the ranks. We've seen her overcome those. We've seen her basically blossom from, a girl into a woman, in as far as her role within the show, her role within the ship.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't think of anyone else in the crew that deserves a happy ending more than she does.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we go back to Gata and Baltar, and Gata's showing Baltar his calculations for a way to Earth. Baltar says that they're wrong, and he starts going in to correct him. And then Gata looks up the security camera, and Baltar notices. Good job, Gata. Gata says if they, give them the way to Earth, then maybe he'll get out of the cell. Baltar catches on and wants to know where the camera is. Gata tries to play it off, but Baltar notices the camera and says, hello. So he's picking up on that. Karen and Anders are talking.
Callie. Yes. I'm sorry, Brightest Day. Yes. Callie deserved better. Callie is a cutie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I don't understand why she got with Tyrell after he beat the shit out of her. And then got away with it scot-free, pat on the head from the Cavill priest.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed about that episode, Drew.
Oh yeah, I know, man. Koji Pan, great to see you, my friend.
Hail, buddy.
Awesome. Next week on Wednesday, I will be back on Bounding Live, so I'm excited for that. Planning on popping in. The guys will be surprised because they've been waiting for me to come back. So that'll be fun. It sucks that I missed it yesterday, but yeah, it's going to be great to go in and do that again with those guys.
Awesome.
Parrot Head says, Stephen, have you found that toothless Asian woman to help you with your coffee and tree pet?
Parrot Head, have you seen the video that I put out today? You starred in it, buddy. You were one of the stars. You and TMF and Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh,
the Dix
boy.
Division showed up in one of my videos.
Oh goodness. All right. So we get back to where Kara and Anders are talking in the bar. She's made her decision to stay with Anders, and he's happy.
That's because she's a trick. I tell you what, Kara pissed me off this season. She continues to piss me off. I don't know. I've been around. This is the thing, right? Cara Thrace is one of those chicks that you hit it and quit it.
Mm-hmm.
You can give her your real name because she will come back for more booty, but do not get in a relationship with Cara Thrace. Don't do that. That's a ticket to killing yourself, to castrating your manhood. Don't do it. Hit it and quit it. That's my advice on this Pegasus Actual Podcast.
Well, you're not entirely wrong, because there are just some women that,
and men
that make a better one-time lover than trying to invest that time,
or repeat lover,
because that they have like certain unredeeming qualities that are going to lead you down the road to ruin.
Well, and it's just
your turbo lover.
It's just I see some of the worst aspects of female behavior in her sometimes, right? I love the character, don't get me wrong. I love the character, but I would never get in a relationship with her because there are times when she really does only care about herself. Now I think we have found out so far that she, suffered some abuse. Her home life wasn't the greatest, but she's broken. She got issues. And, a person can overcome that, or a person deals with that how they will. I like how much realism this show does put into the character building of each person. But she really does only care about herself when it comes to her heart. And that heart can change. It is fluidic. She loves Lee 1 minute and she loves Anders the next. We saw what happened on Caprica. You know what I mean?
She's fickle.
Or New Caprica.
She's fickle.
Yeah.
She's very fickle. I do want to give props to, and man, Culture, you are just on, like, highlighting these comments. It's awesome. I want to give props to Ruth Korean and Brightest Day for spotlighting the fact of, her Sagittarian, her being from Sagittarian, her Sagittarian heritage, and everything like that, because it's actually going to be a decent portion of the next episode, which, by the way, it's a one-off. It's called the Woman King. It heavily involves Hilo. It involves D, and that'll be our next one. It's coming up next week. But yeah, Ruth Korean and Brightest Day are alluding some interesting details that will be somewhat a part of that. But Brightest Day is spot on as well. The first time she mentions it is in Bastille Day when talking about Tom Zarek. And that's when she, kind of goes a little bit, sheds some light on Sagittarian culture, which is very interesting. And I like the fact that they made it kind of different depending on the colony you came from. So, all right, let's get into more of this. So pretty much this is like a lot of posturing around the bar. So
that's what happens at a bar.
After Kara tells Anders she's gonna stay with them. It cuts over to Baltar, and he said, he's talking to Gata. He said he wonders if Gata stayed to the end so that he could feed info to the Resistance. Baltar points out that he let him. Gata can't believe it. Baltar says that he had a gun to his head, but no one forced Gata to play both sides. He wonders who the real traitor is. And, that's an actual good question, because we legitimately saw that Baltar did have a gun to his head. Kara and Anders share a drink, and then they hug. She looks over at Lee, who is hugging Dee. There's a lot of, posturing where they're exchanging glances, and it's like they're purposely sitting there trying to, fuck with each other, make each other jealous. So Lee leans in and kisses Dee at that point after, Kara had looked over. And Joe, the bartender, pours Kara and Anders another drink. Cut back to Gata and Baltar. Gata said he's not a traitor. Baltar doesn't buy that. Mm-hmm. He then says that he wonders what Gata's friends would think if they knew. He then leans in and whispers in Gata's ear. Ty, Adama, and Rosalind are watching all this. Adama wants Gata out of there. Gata shoves Baltar away. He grabs the pen and attacks Baltar, stabbing him in the neck, which is fucked, man. It just like this episode, when you're watching it, just all of a sudden turns berserk fuck right here. Adama, Rosalind, Ty, and a guard enter. Rosalind tries to talk Gata down. She said that she realizes that Gata came here to kill Baltar. Adama then gets a jump on Gata and knocks him down. Coddle, who is now showing up, says that Gaeta missed the artery, so Baltar will live. In sickbay, meanwhile, Angel 6 tells Baltar that he's not one of the Final Five nor a Cylon. Baltar says that he is the chosen one. Of course, he would say that.
Yes.
Rosalind and Adama are talking now. Adama points out that Baltar doesn't see himself as a criminal, but a victim. He said that it's not too late to make him, quote, disappear. Rosalind instead says that they'll give him what he wants. They'll give him a trial. And then that's where our episode ends. Now, a couple interesting caveats to this episode, guys. There is a bonus scene where Caprica 6 is uncuffed as Rosalind tells the guards to be gentle. Rosalind sits down with her, and Rosalind says that they know that Baltar was not involved in the attacks, but they need to know more.
Mm-hmm.
Caprica wants reassurance that she won't be thrown out an airlock. Rosalind gives her word that she won't. Caprica points out that Rosalind gave Leoben her word before spacing him.
Right.
Caprica says that it's probably better than how she treats her own people. Caprica guesses that Rosalind is torturing Baltar. Rosalind wants to know what she's called. Caprica answers Caprica. Rosalind says that she can tell Caprica still loves Baltar and that her love could help Rosalind. Caprica points out that they had a justice system that was innocent until proven guilty. She says to put him on trial. Rosalind says that she's trying to offer him a deal. Caprica says that she's got a deal for Rosalind. Put Baltar on trial, and she'll be Rosalind's chief witness and tell everything. She then lays down on the cot with her back to Rosalind. Rosalind sits there for a minute pondering before getting up and leaving. So that's an interesting scene. I do remember seeing that scene because I had at one point the Blu-ray box set. So yeah, that is a very, very interesting scene.
It really is. I mean, there's a lot left out of these, but this is a good point here.
Can we discuss how unique the relationship between Baltar and Gaeta is?
Well, really and truly, they become best friends, and the thing of it is, and there comes a point to all this where the shoe's on the other foot. There comes a point when you can see clearly that friendship up until the end, and these dudes are very much best friends. They're like it's a strange brotherly relationship, but they're bonded by being fellow scientists. And Gaeta, rightly or wrongly, has always looked up to the guy, and he respects Gaeta in return because he respects Gaeta's mind. They connected on that level.
Well, they did, but then there was also the point of what happened when he was working with his administration. He lost a lot of respect, almost resentment for him at that point. Yeah, that's a difficult relationship to really nail down because there is hate.
But deep down, he still, they still share that bond, man. And that's the thing, where they did bond. And hey, Keck, great to see you, buddy. Glad you're in here.
What's up, Keck?
But yeah, they do share that bond, and it's a very complex relationship because, yeah, it gets to full on at one point, a lot of posturing and hate and disrespect toward each other, but still at the same time, deep down, it feels wrong because it's like, they're still boys.
Yeah, Roof Korean is absolutely right. It becomes laid bare Baltar and Gator's relationship in an upcoming episode.
Yeah, it really
It does. Yeah, I that's why I didn't want to. I don't want to go any further.
You know, and yeah, it's going to get a whole lot more complex between now and season 4. So, there's most definitely going to be, some intrigue and some really interesting things come up about that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the trial episodes are really good.
Yeah, and we're going to be getting into those pretty expediently here because we're on the way. I think it's a couple more episodes, I believe, after this next one that we're doing next week, and then we're into the trial stuff.
Yep, and that should be unique, everybody. I think we will be we'll be flying high at that point. So pretty excited for that.
Yeah. This episode was very quick. There wasn't that much going on in it. So I mean, God, we covered it in less than an hour. It's pretty straightforward. And so it's almost, I want to say it's a filler episode, and I don't like to say that because there's not too many of them in Battlestar, but that's what this one feels like to me.
No, this was a whole lot more of a sort of soap opera-y, drama-y episode.
Yeah, building up relationships and
tearing down relationships.
Tearing down relationships, yeah. Yeah, more so, yes. Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, so there was a lot more of that in this episode. This was definitely not one for those among, those of the fans that enjoy more so the high-paced action aspect, because you didn't get that here. You got a lot of drama and a lot of more character-driven stuff. And
we need to get Roof Korean on here again, man. I mean, it's like he just brought up another point. Gator was the only one smart enough to figure out the surveillance deepfake they tried to frame Baltar with in season 1. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Drew. We got to have him on again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Tony, you're welcome anytime. You know this, but yeah, I thought that quite honestly, this episode it was really good, but it was good for different reasons than the normal formula of the show. I mean, I thought it was really good. Like this one for me was about a 7.5.
Yeah, I'm excuse me. God damn, that went down the wrong pipe. Sorry. But a 7 for me, actually. It wasn't that entertaining, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't poor. I love seeing Baltar get slapped around a little bit, and the what really got me was the amount of psychological torture, and I mean actual fucking torture, interrogation that they were doing to Baltar in this one. How far both Rosalind and Adam were willing to go, how much they did not respect this man at all, and were willing to take it to the to whatever level needed to be. And so, yeah, I'm 7. I'm going to say I give this episode about a 7. And again, Kara, Lee, not my favorites this season. Just I'm really disappointed with those characters.
Yeah, but you're supposed to be, dude.
I know, but I don't like it because I love them.
Yeah. Oh man, I was, I have to, and I have to separate it as a fan because I was pretty hardcore. Like, I was all for the LK relationship, but man, I was just. Even being hardcore a fan of that, I was disappointed in them as humans.
Dig that. Go ahead, Culture. What do you think?
I look. This was a 7.5. It wasn't the best episode, not the worst. It gave you some motivations, and it leads into some episodes that I'm going to put in the very high level scores, which you'll find out here in the next couple of weeks. Going to be tipping that 9 level soon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting into some better episodes coming.
Yeah, Brightest Day. Nice point. The torture in this episode is actually a callback to MK Ultra. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very interesting stuff, dude. Ruth Korean brings up a good point about the show. At this point, they have the remainder of the series mapped out. Plot from here on out moves very fast, and they don't do the silly monster character focus of the week. Now threads in the past weave.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Like from this point forward, we do get pretty defined arcs from each person. And I look forward to it. Like I said, it was at this point when I was watching it, guys, that I couldn't stop. And in two streaming sessions, I just went through the whole show. Like I went through, I just couldn't stop watching it, man. I got into season 4, and then I stopped myself, and then one day I just started watching it. And I couldn't stop until I got to the end. So it's definitely thrilling, but with very few episodes that I'm going to give low ratings for.
Yeah. Brightest Day, yeah, this show actually was at one point affected by the writer's strike. That's why I believe there was a season 2 and a season 2.5.
Yep, that's exactly right.
So, yep. Yeah, this show was directly impacted by the writer's strike.
All right. Rook Crane also says it's 12 after the hour. However, in context during the airtime, I believe that there was a writer strike happening, and certain actors' contracts were affected, if I recall.
Yep, it certainly was. So that's again why the season 2 and why the season 2.5. So, Yep. But
yes,
go ahead, Stephen.
Oh, I was just saying, yes, sir. I didn't remember that. Thank you guys for reminding me. It was, like I said, we're about to get into some really good episodes, and so this is, a good,
Hey,
good...
Danny.
Oh, hey, what's up, Danny? So this is a really, I don't want to say filler. It was deconstructing relationships, setting you up for, the fall of what is to come. And I'm looking forward to covering the next couple episodes, to be honest.
Well, next week, it's like I said, if you're looking for something super compelling, everything like that, next week, that our episode, The Woman King, it is a one-off. So just remember that, next week's episode will be like one of those kind of sort of, just file and forget. It's kind of like the hero episode that we had not too long ago. It's also, this one, there isn't any really, it's not an episode that bridges anything. It's just a 1 hour one-off. So,
dig that. All right.
But yeah, the episodes coming after next week's episode, yes, are going to be epic.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to the next 5 or 6 here for a bit. So
yeah.
Pretty pumped up.
Yeah, that's where I was. Yeah, that's where I was too, Culture. I couldn't stop at this point. I was ready to get on to the next episode because they're very well seamed together. The story was damn good, and I'm looking forward to it. Glad to hear you're doing well, Comic Chat. Yeah, man, we're just we're about to close up the show. Thank you for stopping through, man. Please smash that like button. And thank you, brother. Appreciate every single person been here in the chat tonight. Thank you, guys. The show wouldn't be anything without you. we miss Raquel. I'm sure you guys do too. She'll be back soon. And thank you guys very much for supporting this channel. And please share out the link to Supreme Heretics channel. Let's try and get this man monetized. He deserves it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we can have this Battlestar chat every Thursday because, man, it's celebrating a good show. It just never gets old, especially in, the culture war that we are. Especially, in the circumstances that we are, there's so much just very uncompelling and uninspired things that are out there. Here we are, May 6th. The other day, you guys, it's funny because I know a number of us on this stream and in the chat are Star Wars fans. May the 4th, I used to get hyped for May the 4th. And I was all about, kicking back and watching Star Wars content on that day. And honestly, guys, it was just another day to me. And it didn't even register. I didn't even faze me. And it wasn't because I didn't have necessarily computer access or anything like that. It was just because, man, I am so over Star Wars because it's uninteresting, uncompelling, just a bunch of really woke and crappy nonsense now, and that's what you have, unfortunately, and being able to talk about this show is a treat because we're going back to one of the last very engaging and compelling TV shows that we saw in a genre science fiction that we enjoy. Mm-hmm. So I'm very very happy for that. Danny, I actually did see The Strain. Yes. It is a very that was an interesting show. I give it that. The Bad Batch, no, I haven't watched it. It wasn't too interested. I've heard mixed things about the Bad Batch. The last thing that I actually watched entertainment-wise, guys, was because it's been a while since I talked to you, since the last time we were on here. So the last thing entertainment-wise that I watched was I watched Mortal Kombat on my phone. And this new Mortal Kombat movie I was not very impressed with.
I liked it. I had fun with it. I thought it was fun.
It was okay, but I like the other one so much better.
Oh, the original? I absolutely. But there was some good moments in it.
Yeah,
in the new one. I like
again, they're good moments.
Fun.
It just wasn't the greatest of stories. So, I mean, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brightest Day, I agree with you. It was about a 5 out of 10, maybe a 6 for me. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone that came out tonight and watched Pegasus Actual. I appreciate you guys looking out and helping me and everything else, and for everybody that's reached out and has checked on me periodically. Again, I will be back, and it'll be nice, and maybe even this weekend they'll do a current events High Heresy stream, because I know people have been looking for one of those. So once I get everything situated, I will be anxious to do that. So yeah, I will probably do a High Heresy stream at some point this weekend. But thank you for your continued support of the channel. Thank you for the tips, and because We use the stream element since right now not monetized, so you can super chat via the stream elements. So that's awesome. But yeah, thank you so much, folks. And yeah, I just I'll pass it around to the guys so that they can sort of say a few words and plug their projects, and then we are going to get on out of here for the evening. And Resvergam, great to see you.
Good God, I love the Twitter shows.
All right, so with that being said, Steven, play yourself out so we can move along.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at boobs on Twitter. I enjoy social media platforms that allow nudity. I can't like them or retweet them, though, because I have an image to maintain. But thank you guys for being here this evening. Please check me out. Let's see. Next show I'm going to be on is Comics. I think Comics Division's tonight, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in about an hour. Can't wait to be on there with Daddy. And then please check us out on Rogue Entertainment on my channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by Sporking News Podcast on his channel, the Sporking Steamer, I think it's called.
That's
I think
Saturday, guys.
Yeah,
that's Saturday.
Oh, Saturday. Yeah, on Saturday. And then I will be on the Sunday Culture Review on Culture Casino's channel. And then Rogue Squadron on my channel at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to kick off your Fandom Menace Tuesday nights. Thank you, guys. Oh, and also check out the Wednesday Dump on Sparking News Podcast, followed by Going in Rogue on ETEP Rakuin and the Place to Be Reviews. Thank you guys so much for being here. Remember to support one another. Please, your favorite 2 or 3 YouTubers, please make sure to share out their channel links, like and comment, support them. You know, there's a lot of people in this community. So the people that you really enjoy, that you really want to see succeed, if you could share out links for their channels and try and help them get the monetization, that would mean a lot. Thank you guys so much for being here. My love to you all. Be good to each other. Wash your hands, wash your ass. Peace.
Hey, Drew, do you want to say something to Brightest Day here?
Yeah, thank you so much, Brightest Day. Appreciate that. So, and again, you know, the support it's beyond words, and you know, I'm just thankful that you guys are the best chat on YouTube. I call many of you my friends, and thank you so much. You know, and I will be back more active. I'm happy to again have computer access, you know, and especially with a proper tower after this Saturday. So it'll be good to go, and I'll be back to doing what I can, at least for another 4 to 6 months. Hopefully.
There you go. Thank you guys all so very much for joining us this evening. Thank you, Drew, for allowing me to produce your show for you for the last couple of times. And beyond all that, guys, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene.
Sorry.
And to end it all, what do we always say?
Yep. So say we all.
So say we
So
all.
say we all.